Hey, GW coming to you live today. I know I promised you guys that X review tomorrow, but it's been crazy. We've had some things go down, and I hardly slept. So I figured, you know what better way to burn time than to watch X? Well, I gotta tell you guys something. This is a freaking... It's one of the best horror films I've seen this year, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. As I've told you before, Ty West did it. He's the one that did House of the Devil, which is a really grisly picture about a babysitter who becomes a sacrifice for some Satanists. And the gore in that thing was off the charts. Now, same with this. This recently came out, and I will tell you, this is a hard Blu-ray to get. If you try to order it on Amazon, it's usually 1 to 2 months shipping, as I told you earlier. So I bought it digitally, and I am glad that I did, because this thing, the first half of it, reminds you of Boogie Nights. You know, everything is an adrenaline-fueled porno shoot romp at a rural farmhouse. And it looks like, you know, it's going to be one movie. Then all of a sudden it switches, so it pulls the Dusk Till Dawn treatment, where it flip-flops right in the middle of it, and it becomes something else. And I'm going to tell you, once the gore starts, dude, it is grisly, it is gory, it is sometimes extreme. This film also pulls kills from other films. Being that this film is set in 1979, it had a lot of leeway to pull kills from other horror films, rather. There's an alligator attack, reminds you of that film Eaten Alive, 1974 by Tobe Hooper. Or it was 1980 maybe, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, there is a impalement of an eyeball straight out of the film Zombie by Lucio Fulci. And I'm sure that, you know, more seasoned horror vets can find more references to other films. This film also has a feel of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I really liked. In fact, the house that the elderly couple live in, who are the main villains, killers in this film, actually does remind you a little bit about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house without all the bones strewn around. Now, as I said before, this is a movie about 5 adult filmmakers and actors who go to make The Farmer's Daughter. And honestly, the cast is perfect. I mean, you have Ty West, the director of the whole picture. You have Jenny Ortega, Brittany Snow, and Mia Goth. All 3 of them are very, very cool. I will say this film took me by surprise because of like I said, the explosiveness and the ferocity of it. This film also has a Christian backdrop, and what I mean by that, maybe I didn't use the right words. What I mean by that is that this film takes place in Texas, and Texas is a big notch in the Bible Belt, and being that they're adult filmmakers, they are frowned upon. That's why they are systematically slaughtered throughout the course of the movie. Ty West does this really cool thing where he shows, anytime there's a crucial scene, the TV is playing with a preacher on it. And this preacher is hellfire and brimstone. Now, stick around for the final credits, too, because in this TV show with the preacher, you will see something that kind of is a little shocking toward the end. There's a major reveal happening. Now, it's no wonder that this film is hard to get because of the lack or the intensity of the story, and as well as the nudity and the content. You know, it reminds you of Boogie Nights, the first half. And the second half, I mean, everybody must love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because a combination of those 2 films make this thing a pretty amazing film. It also has Kid Cudi in it as the lead male actor, porn actor. And you find out each character has a little bit of a backstory. Not much, but you find out he served in Vietnam. And the killers in this film, like I mentioned, are elderly, and Ty West makes elderly people frightening, much like M. Night Shyamalan did in The Visit. And it's a wonder. There are some really disturbing, creepy scenes in this film. And what sets off the killers is that one of them, the wife, sees part of a porno shoot and wants to rekindle the passion with her husband. However, when her husband rejects her advances because of his heart, I guess he has heart issues, basically that sets off her into a murderous rage. And dude, like, these people are psychotic, but they come on as normal, angry, grouchy, elderly people. So it is fun to watch. It's a little bit unbelievable. Now, I'm gonna ruin one thing for you in the movie here, and I'm not going to talk about this movie, but there was an actual sequel to this called Pearl, which is shot in secret. So if you happen to pick this up, look for Pearl. I think it's coming out next year, and honestly, after watching this, I cannot wait to see what Ty West has up his sleeve for this. And a lot of people don't know Ty West, so I suggest you do check out House of the Devil and see his work from there. But this thing, dude, goes off the rails fairly quick. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really intense, and like I said, once the film gets going, you kind of want to know where it's going to go. And it does morph into movies. Like I said, the first half reminds you of the opening scene of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they're all in a van, you know, they're having a good time, and as soon as they get to where they're going to shoot this adult film, basically it starts turning into the Great American Nightmare, if you will. And again, they don't make films quite like this anymore. I was surprised by the in-your-face violence, but you knew it was going to be bloody going into it. And like I said, as far as nudity goes, there's some heavy topless shots and some really implied sexual activity going on. The other weird thing is it does pull from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when the wife, who plays the elderly lady in the film, makes her first kill, she does a ballerina dance over the dead body. And it's creepy, but it also harkens back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in which case, where Sally Hardesty got away, played by Marilyn Burns, Leatherface did that little dance, that famous dance with a chainsaw, and it reminded you of that, and it was neat to see. Only this one was done in a more macabre sort of way, and it definitely was disturbing yet morbid, and it also showed how evil and psychotic these people could be. So it is a very, very good movie if you like that sort of thing. It is grisly, I'm not gonna lie. There are gunshots, as I mentioned before, eyeball stabs. There's even a head squashing scene in which a van crushes a woman's head toward the end of the movie. Now, I am curious to see what Ty West has in store for the sequel. And I'm assuming in the sequel we're going to go back and figure out why these people became the killers, what set them off, why they are so psychotic. But it was definitely, if you guys haven't seen it, you know, you like sort of extreme sort of horror films, check it out. The cast is pretty much attractive. They actually look like porno stars. And the way that the porno scenes are shot too is on the, you know, old Super 8 camcorders or cameras that they used to carry around. And it's interesting to see the dynamic amongst those characters, you know, how they get along. And like I said, it was well worth it, and it is the horror film to me of the year, because I haven't. This one is smart. It's exhilarating. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It does have the added added atmosphere of the whole Christian Bible Belt, where they are not tolerant to adult cinema or swearing or anything like that. And those days, that was pretty much common. I remember, even we went to, off topic here, we drove to North Carolina. And honestly, once we got into Georgia, from Georgia to North Carolina, I swear to God, you guys, we passed probably 50, 55 Baptist church, buildings. And it really gave you the notion that there are people that, made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but yet comfortable, because, the whole atmosphere, and some of those people get fanatical, and that's what you see in this film. But don't get me wrong, I'm not calling every churchgoer fanatical by any means. I'm just saying that some of them, they get that ultra religious, and that's the characters that Ti West put in here, where they just are so fanatical that they actually consider murder a legal thing in this film. But yeah, as I said, I haven't slept, so I apologize. Today is going to be run around. I am not going to work. I have to do a few things. Emergency came up last night, and so I took today to do this movie review. And tomorrow I'll probably do another one, probably Burial Ground. If you guys haven't seen that one, I'll explain that one to you. But yeah, it's crazy. Also, I didn't, off topic, I did not know there was a Ghostbusters Day, and I am the #1 fan of that film. I didn't know there was a Ghostbusters Day. Also, I read yesterday or the day before that Jaws 2 was released in theaters many, many years ago. And it's funny because I get these things on my YouTube feed. And then I saw right after the article on YouTube, where it says Jaws 2, it also said basic Jaws rip-offs. And, there was one that I did watch, and I want to just make a note of it. It was probably one of the slowest, most goofiest, ridiculous Jaws rip-offs of all time. It was called Blood Beach. The cover art was amazing, but the story was really crappy. If you happen to catch it, just watch it on TV. It's not really that incredible, but it just made me think that, yeah, I did see that when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, I used to rent every horror movie that came around. In fact, tomorrow what I might do is review a film called The Lamp, aka The Outing. And you guys probably never heard of that because it came from direct-to-video. I believe it's a Canadian feature. But that was the cool thing. Whenever I was a kid, you went to the video store and you rented like 10, 12 movies, and you'd bring them back. And if you had double VCRs, well, you guys know. And so you ended up having a copy of all these old films. And by the way, just speaking of VCRs, do you guys know what the first home video was that was ever dropped? It was MASH the movie. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but I remember that because that was the first movie that dropped on VHS. So, but I hope you like X. I really did. And like I said, it's a very grisly combination of, drama, horror, a little bit of comedy sprinkled in and out of there. And the other thing Ti West brings to that film is, I think, the realism, Maybe not so much in the outrageous kills, but the dynamic of the whole group, the atmosphere was creepy, and just the realism, the down-to-earth characters, just pretty cool. But you do not want to miss it, especially, like I said, but before you watch it, check out House of the Devil. It is, it's insane. I remember watching that movie and that film, watching it, made me a little bit uneasy. It's still one of my favorite horror films, but it does make you uneasy. It's very graphic, and that was probably one of my first forays into extreme cinema. So look that one up, then watch this. And speaking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you guys love the 74 version and you guys have a PlayStation 5, Xbox One, whatever, you might want to check out the game trailer for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, and it looks sweet. The only thing that I can say bad about it is that Jim Sedow, who played the cook, he passed away, so his voice is not going to be with the character. But the character does have a creepy voice. That's about the only bad thing I can say. Gameplay looks phenomenal. The atmosphere looks phenomenal. The sets, the stage as you run around in look identical to the house. And it's going to be on Game Pass next year. So definitely look that up if you're interested. And I'll be back tomorrow with the Outing, aka The Lamp, review. It's GW. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.